This is, if Donald Trump, Russia rapist, porn star, collusion, all that crap not sticking. If he really did collude with Putin or is Putin's puppet, he's the worst puppet ever. He had the strongest diplomatic response since Ronald Reagan in the middle of the Cold War to Russia. So comical, but some potential volatility there because what was it? About 13, 14 other NATO countries kicked a bunch of diplomats out. This is getting uglier, folks, and we know Britain was threatened a couple weeks ago when they responded, when Russia responded by saying, "Hey, don't threaten a nuclear power." Like, what is this? This really is like a James Bond movie, but it's real life. So this man's a disgrace. He's a despot. He just won re-election with 98% of the vote, and the 2% that voted against him are now dead. Saudi Arabia, the proxy war in Yemen is continuing. The Houthi rebels launched a bunch of bottle rockets again. I mean, this is war, folks. Can you imagine if a bunch of rebels, United States rebels in Canada, were launching rockets into the United States to kill us? We'd be at war, folks. So the Middle East is, shocker, breaking news, Middle East on the verge of war. This proxy war, if it doesn't stay a proxy, is going to end up direct fighting between Saudi Arabia and Iran. When, not if, when Iran gets a nuke, which, thank you, Barack Hussein Obama, Saudi Arabia will get a nuke as well. And here's what should scare the shit out of you. Either one of those countries would actually use it. With this dude and this dude, we actually get the concept of what? MAD, mutually assured destruction, knowing that if we launched a nuke against the other, that we're going to be wiped out. These people don't give a shit. I want you to Google 12th Imam. Do that. The 12th Imam. 12th Imam. If you want to really freak yourself the hell out, Iran believes that their job is to summon or hasten the arrival of the 12th Imam by having a nuclear war. Rest easily. What trade war? So the Dow Jones had the biggest one-day gain in 10 years. The overall market yesterday had the biggest one-day gain in 17 years. I predicted this, folks. I said this is a BTFD moment. So last week when I'm out in Aspen on spring break, oh my God, there might be a trade war. What part of there's going to be a trade war or a potential trade war back here didn't you understand? And we bought the dip. So this one, this is the trade war and Mark Zuckerberg's limousine liberal implosion. And I told you it is a BTFD moment. All this looks bad, folks, right? This is not panic selling. There's nobody. If we were panic selling, we would have gone right through the 200-day moving average. It's not panic selling. Why? Because we knew, or I did, and I told my members this behind the closed doors, and I met some big heavies in Aspen last week. I told you I know, or met Steve Mnuchin one time, their current treasurers. I told you, this is, if you haven't read The Art of the Deal, or you don't know anything about a New Yorker or a New Yorker who's in real estate, this is all bluster and negotiation. His opening shot last month was just that. The Chinese shot back with, hey, we might even not buy your debt anymore and sell your treasuries. That would never, ever happen. And become a member, and I'll tell you why. And you would have known to buy the dip. We knew that behind the scenes, the grown-ups were talking. Trump and President Xi can bluster all they want, but obviously the smart people are talking behind the scenes going, all right, how do we make this work? And it will. So this was a buy, the dip moment, and it's comical to think otherwise. That's why until earnings, and it seems a year away, but next week we start Q1 earnings season, folks. The stock market may be at the mercy of politicians until earnings season, and that it's going to be a long week, right? Matter of fact, the market just started selling off a little bit. We just got done our primary live trade brief. The VIX started to go up a little bit, and the as the market it didn't necessarily quote roll over. Dow's only down about 30 right now. That was kind of a wide swing. There was some breaking news in the middle of our PLTB about WYNN. We'll talk about that in a couple of seconds. But can the markets handle so much trouble at once? Yes. Matter of fact, the market's going to get used to this. Remember last year, every pullback was political. We had a huge pullback when the idiot Republican clown car couldn't vote to repeal Obamacare. They voted to repeal Obamacare 62 times under Obama, and they fail under Trump. So we had a big pullback. And then, remember the afternoon, Donald Trump sitting in his, New Jersey golf club, he said, I will rain fire and fury down on North Korea. The president of the leader of the free world threatened to vaporize a sovereign country. And the stock market went, it bought that dip that afternoon. So this is the new normal. Wild swings in volatility, but net to the upside. So yeah, the markets can handle so much trouble at once. That's why we're trading the hell out of it. We have a weekly options bear call spread on, for example, on volatility. This ain't good. This came out in the middle of the live trade brief I just did. Casino managers enabled WYNN's alleged misconduct for decades, workers say. Employees describe a corporate culture where the supervisors look the other way. Complaining was futile. Don't try to make this into anything. Oh, this is creepy, and it sounds Harvey Weinstein-ish. So WYNN had an upgrade today. So my buddies, JP Morgan, love JP Morgan. Hey, we're upgrading from, what was it, 196 to 214. And then right here, this Wall Street Journal came out. I would be putting a bear call spread on. This ain't good. These details are going to be bad. And I get the upgrade from JP Morgan, but they got a ton of lawsuits. And what? They have got to rename the damn casino, man. The one. Macau properties are great. Nobody cares in China who the hell Steve Wynn is. They want to smoke and gamble. It's not going to impact that type of earnings. But here in the United States, man, I already know of a couple companies that aren't booking or have canceled events at the Wynn because of the guy's name at the top. Might as well say Weinstein. So we'll talk about this more in accelerated retirement tomorrow. I'm not going to get too much into that. Gotta love this. Bill Ackman, billionaire investor. Bill Ackman pledged to end 3 years of underperformance at Pershing Square Holdings. The guy is awful. We laughed a couple months ago at David Einhorn at Greenline Capital sending an apology letter out to his investors. I'm sorry for the paltry 1.7% return last year. The S&P was up 22% last year, folks. And these smart money folks, you would have made more money with your Citibank cashback card than these guys did. So again, you don't need to be in one of these things paying the folks that live in Summer and Hamptons a fee of $2 and $20. You should be here at Topkin Options. I love this, folks. The FANGs and Twitter imploding. I told you in October, Twitter's awful. It's shadow bans. It's banning conservative speech. Hell, they shut down a lady. Google, I'm not that shallow as to go on looks, but I am in this case. Google Trump's Twitter account being shut down. Remember when that happened a couple months ago? Google the picture of the person who did it. The lady who did it. And don't tell me if it doesn't fit. If you look up the definition of disabling Trump's Twitter account, she's the picture. Anyway, this thing is wait until Congress finds out about what Twitter does. These guys are screwed, and it couldn't happen to a bunch of more deserving limousine liberals, right? Twitter is down, what, 8, 9%, 10%, even better. When I was in the primary live trade brief, it was down 7.5%, and I said, what? Pound it into the dirt, along with Facebook. These guys are in so much trouble, they don't know what to do with themselves. There we go. Right there, I said, pound Twitter into the dirt, and it went down $2 since I said that. Pound it into the dirt, guys. It has so much headline risk, it's not even funny. And Uber, Tesla, all these things are imploding right now. Tim Cook, I love this picture. Tim Cook takes his turn to dunk on Facebook, backing data private. Don't write. We're not the problem. Facebook is. It's the law of liberal thermodynamics. If the heat ain't on you, it's on somebody else, right? So Apple, Tim Cook, who's a limousine liberal, who wouldn't unlock an iPhone for our bumbling FBI because of privacy, right? But I'll use 10-year-olds in China to build my iPhones, and I'll also install software on Chinese iPhones so their government can track what they're doing. Limo liberal. Zuckerberg has decided to grace Congress to testify. And if he didn't, he was going to get subpoenaed. So he had no, but look at this. He told Britain, the members of parliament said, we demand you come talk to us. He said no. The headline risk in Facebook is awful. I told you last week as it started, well, I told you in October to get out of Facebook, Apple, Twitter, and get all of it and do what? What did I say to do in October, folks? Amazon. Look at the 6-month chart. You'd be up, what is it, $700 and about 75%. That's just on the stock going up. That's not on all the bull put spreads that we've been playing in Amazon. Had an absolute blast. Now compare that 6-month chart to this dude, Facebook. You would be down about 15%. It's gone down 15% since last week. I'm skiing in Aspen when the news broke about what everything I said that they're going to get in trouble for finally broke. The thing's been That's a falling knife. You can keep pounding Facebook into the dirt. It is not going to recover anytime soon. You know when it's going to recover? You ready for this? When he is either fired by the board of directors, or he resigns. He cannot remain the skipper. He's Steve Wynn right now, essentially. He is radioactive. His apology tour has been comical. He can't even tell you how much it's done. And if you really know what he said, just Google what he said. So Julian Assange, who he's gotten in trouble for like privacy stuff, for telling us how much we get spied on, whereas Mark Zuckerberg makes money off it. But anyway, remember what Mark Zuckerberg called you, right? This is what he said at the time he created Facebook. I'm going to read this to you, and forgive the, I'm going to quote, so I'm not going to ask you to forgive the language. Yeah, so if you ever need any info about anyone at Harvard, just ask me. I have over 4,000 emails, pictures, addresses, and social security numbers. What? How'd you manage that one? People just submitted it. I don't know why. They trust me. Dumb fucks. Mark Zuckerberg, when he started Facebook, called anybody who gave him their information a dumb fuck. I'll just leave that one there. Elon Musk, again, using the Tim Cook law of liberal hypocrite thermodynamics, has deleted his Tesla and SpaceX Facebook pages. Again, when the heat is on somebody else, it ain't on you. And oh, by the way, Mark Zuckerberg for the past 3 months have been selling the hell out of his company's shares. Before he started selling his shares, I told you this would happen. And if you pounded it into the dirt, you are printing money. Google, can't stand Google as well. Google owns YouTube. What are they doing? They're banning firearms demonstration videos, entering the gun control debate, and stifling speech. Ronald Reagan said, when fascism comes to the United States, it will be described and characterized as what? Anti-fascism. So all the people who should be the most free speech-ish, right, are the most restricting of speech. And Oracle has won a huge ruling against Google in a multi-billion-dollar copyright case. I remember this was like when I lived in San Diego, this thing started. They lost it. So, folks, the FANGs, I told you to ditch them. The only one I told you, and it ain't a FANG, to get in is Amazon. And I also said Tesla will be lucky to be in business in a couple years. It's broke. I said they will run out of money by the second quarter of this year. I said that 6 months ago. Tesla is down 7% today. This is when I told you to get out of Tesla, and it's a crappy stock. That's what it's doing. So in this market, folks, look at that. Oh, that's easy. No, it isn't easy. Look at this. Here's October and this rip your face off rally. So back here in October, some people, I remember some free people coming to my Full Throttle launches laughing at me for saying Facebook and Tesla and Apple and Twitter all suck and get out of them. I actually have a couple of the people's names. And if you're watching this video, how's it feel to be absolutely wrong? And in this rise, I told you, I said the lights are going to come on in the kitchen and you're going to see all the roaches with these companies. And there you go. We talked about today using the XLY as a good proxy for Amazon, because Amazon is going to be a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 stock, and it's going to be a giant. So, anyway, folks, so here's what's interesting. WYNN Resorts was raised from 214 from 196, and then the breaking news in the middle of that. We're going to talk in an accelerated retirement brief tomorrow about pounding WYNN into the dirt. That ain't good. That's not good news, man. That's not good. And we've had a good time trading WYNN. So he's Facebook, man. So there's the breaking news of him being Harvey Weinstein, and here's him resigning. That's the only thing that's going to save the Facebook stock from imploding even more. Well, he's the founder, Wiz. He owns a lot of shares. It doesn't matter. Jerry Yang was the founder of Yahoo. Just because you're a founder of a company doesn't mean you're smart enough to be the runner of a company. There's a difference between being an entrepreneur and sitting in your dorm room and coming up with this concept and managing one of the largest, essentially, countries in the world. And Mark Zuckerberg ain't running for president, obviously, anymore. So he needs to go. Facebook is a dog. The only thing that saves that stock, if it ever does again, is him resigning. Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, has a trust problem, and it's near impossible to get back. It took Tylenol. Remember, I'm young enough, old enough to remember the Tylenol scare. Now, literally, you buy something from Costco like white strips, and you have to break out a chainsaw to get into the damn packaging, right? Remember, you used to open a bottle of Tylenol and it opened until somebody decided to poison it. So they had a trust problem, and it took decades for them to regain it. Facebook will never, ever regain the trust of anybody ever again, and the stock is done. That's it. It's pets.com. Even if he resigns, you're going to see a dead cat bounce, and it's going to implode again. So, again, if it sounds like I'm taking a victory lap, I am. Just like me predicting that Donald Trump would win the election and the market would rally, and people laughed. Didn't laugh about our triple-digit returns last year when David Einhorn and Ackman are apologizing for how they did in 2017. I nailed it. And I nailed the tech wreck that is happening right now. Get out of all of them or short the shit out of them, folks. We're having a blast doing all of that here at Top Gun Options. So, all right, folks, I got to run. I'll see many of my members tomorrow in accelerated retirement at 1 o'clock. Remember, folks, if you want to do something here at Top Gun Options, take a 2-week test flight and listen to the blast that we're having in our live training services. Just go to our homepage, topgunoptions.com. Scroll down, and you can take a look at one of these beginner, intermediate, or advanced services and learn how to trade equity options, okay? Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and I'll be back with tomorrow's market outlook.